Ooh, don't shoot up at me. That's never good.
I'll work on it.
No, really, do not give me a double chin, or I will never forgive you. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Good evening and welcome everyone to our 15th ShillMed webinar in our lifestyle education series. We're so glad you're joining us here tonight. Thank you for being here with us. If you're joining us for the first time, we are a physician-led weight loss and lifestyle medicine center, which means that we focus on helping you get healthy by changing your lifestyle, using medications as needed as a bridge to a healthier life. And we're thrilled to be talking more tonight about lifestyle medicine. We've been focusing in the month of June about lifestyle medicine. And if you haven't been here with us previously, the first month we did an overview of the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, which we're going to go over for just a minute tonight. And then last week we had a great guest speaker, Kathy Rollins, who is a registered nurse in California, who uses principles of lifestyle medicine to help clients achieve better health and happier lifestyles. So tonight we're going to continue that conversation, and we hope that you'll use the chat window to the right of your screen to participate with us and make lots of comments and help enlighten other people on this chat so that we can learn from each other this evening. So we're going to jump right in. We're continuing, as I said, with the narrative on changing your lifestyle, and we'll start with our fun fact for tonight. Total daily energy expenditure was a new term for me this week. And what it is basically, just simple terms, the measure of energy or calories that we burn during the day. And we're going to talk mostly about that tonight. But did you know that intentional exercise, or the workouts that you participate in intentionally, the ways that you look to burn calories, is actually the smallest of the 4 categories that make up our daily calorie burn. I thought that was really interesting. We're going to go into more detail on that. But before we do, let's just do a quick review about lifestyle medicine. The 3 points that we kind of went over in the first week is that lifestyle medicine focuses on treating the cause, not just the symptoms. So we're not just looking at using medication kind of as a band-aid to treat, to treat your pain, to treat your heart disease, to treat all of those things, but we're really looking at the root, what caused those things in the first place, and how can we reverse some changes in your lifestyle to get rid of that completely, to reverse it, or to at least ease the symptoms that you're experiencing. And also want to emphasize that we aren't advocates of not using medicine. We are physician-led. We believe in medication, but we hope that medication will be a bridge, not a destination. We don't want you to be on long-term medication if you don't have to be. There are certainly chronic diseases that require that, but as we learned in lifestyle medicine, 70 to 80% of chronic disease can actually be treated or even reversed by incorporating these principles that we learn about lifestyle medicine. And this is the part that I love, is that we have these 6 pillars that make up lifestyle medicine. The 3 that you kind of naturally think of are the first 3: whole food, plant-based nutrition, regular physical activity, and avoiding risky substances. And that really means mostly addictive substances. We're talking nicotine, alcohol in moderation, prescription drugs even, and certainly narcotics, those kinds of things. We want to use those, again, as a bridge, not a destination, wherever possible. But then the 3 that come after that are my favorite. So a key component to a healthy lifestyle is restorative sleep, regular, healthy, restorative sleep, positive social connection, which isn't one that people normally think of as associated with medicine, but I love that that's a part of it. And then the 6th one is stress management. And stress management, as we learned that first week, really is the key to being able to manage the other 5. If our stress is too high, it's really difficult to have healthy patterns in these other 5 areas. So that's kind of just an overview of what we learned in general about lifestyle medicine. And tonight we're going to focus mostly on the energy part of it. Okay, so we're going to talk kind of about physical activity, how we can tweak some of that in our lifestyle to optimize our calorie burn, which then can optimize our weight loss and our weight loss maintenance. So let me start out by posing this question and just take a minute to think about it. If your doctor says that you need to burn more calories or lose weight, what do you immediately think of when you think, okay, how am I going to burn calories? What comes to your mind? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? And go ahead and leave it in the chat window to your right. Okay, exercise. Be even more specific than exercise. Go to the gym, work out, lifting weights, cardio. Okay, great. Anything else that you can think of? Well, your endurance training, good. Okay, so then this is maybe a similar question, but just a little bit more detail. Think back on your day today, okay? What activity or activities did you participate in that you think burned the most calories today? What did you do today that you feel like was probably the activity in the last 24 hours that burned the most calories? Let's just compare. Swimming, okay? Weightlifting, walking, okay? Hiking and bike riding, all great ways to burn calories. Resistance training, chasing children, yes. Going for a morning run, perfect. Talking burns calories, absolutely. Breathing, yep, they all are ways to burn calories. Okay, so this is the part that surprised me. The first component to calorie burn is our resting metabolic rate. Now we know this, if you come in to see us in our clinic, we do in-body testing. And on that in-body test, we show you what your resting metabolic rate is. And for anybody who sat and talked through this with Dr. Shill, he always explains that as the amount of calories that you burn when you're in a comatose state, and the second you turn over in bed, that number goes up, right? But this is the part that surprised me when I was preparing this week. Your total daily energy expenditure composition of sleep and rest is about 60%. So again, going back to these 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, isn't that fascinating that you burn over half of your calories sleeping? And that emphasizes further how important restorative sleep is in our health, but also in our weight loss journey. Good sleep is essential, and anybody who's tried to lose weight will be able to tell you that the nights that they sleep better, they see bigger drops in their weight as well. So isn't that interesting? I thought that was fascinating. Um, I love these comments. Keep them coming. I love the interaction and the ways that we can have fun and learn with each other here. So, okay, so that's component number one, is just your resting metabolic rate. And also, I feel like that should be encouraging, right? Whether or not you're struggling to get good sleep. And again, remember that as a physician-led group, we can help you with sleep too. If that's something that we need to reset, we can work with you on that. Even if we need to use medications for a time, we can help you get that restorative sleep that's going to help you towards your health goals. But it's kind of encouraging that your body does so much of that work for you when you're just resting. So that's component number one. Now, component number two is another thing that you actually don't have to do much to achieve. It's the thermic effect of food, and that's calories burned by digestion and food storage. So the variance here is, I would say it's still pretty small, but because it goes from 6 to 12%. So it's still a very low part of your calorie burn for the day. But if you think about, this is why we're told things like celery that are really high in fiber can be better for us, not just because they're vegetables, but because the harder your digestion system has to work, the more calories you're going to burn just in that process too. Now, again, this is a small piece, right? You can't expect to achieve your weight loss goals just by depending on your thermic effect of food, but it's an important component to consider. Now, component number three is the one that we think of, right? It's the active energy expenditure. And it's the calories that are burned through activity. And this is what you all mentioned, right? You're talking about hiking and biking and walking and the things that you're doing while you're awake, most of which are intentional. But this part I thought was so fascinating and exciting. So there's two types, right? The first part is the part that we're all thinking about, the intentional exercise, the part that we all mentioned. And I put this really cool surfing picture because it's cool, and also I don't know any of us that can actually do that. If you can, please put it in the comments. If you ever look like that surfing, then you're my hero, and I think that's amazing. But I certainly don't look like that surfing. But anyway, so goals, right? Goals to shoot for. But the problem is we run into all kinds of barriers with this, right? And please understand that while we're talking about this, at ShillMed, we are very much advocates of intentional exercise. We're going to talk to every one of you in your weight loss journey about how important muscle building is to maintaining your loss and to speeding up your loss, right? Because we burn fat at a higher rate when our muscles are working, and we also maintain that loss because it increases, just like we just learned, it increases our basal metabolic rate, which happens while we're sleeping, but the muscle building we do during the day increases that rate, which will increase what happens while we're sleeping. So this is a very important part, but this is the part that was so interesting to me. This is the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and it actually composes more of our calorie burn during the day than our intentional exercise. And we're going to look at a chart on the next slide. But before we get to that, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or we abbreviate it as NEAT, N-E-A-T, is all the other energy that you expend during a day. Activities of daily living, showering, getting dressed, going to work, grocery shopping. I put this picture of grocery shopping in because I think it's hilarious. Anyone with children knows that grocery shopping never looks like that. You are actually burning way more calories grocery shopping with children than it appears in this picture. But this is the part that I found so interesting. So NEAT can vary as much as 2,000 calories per day between different people. So you can have a huge potential for calorie burn just in the ways you approach your activities of daily living. And then look at this next bullet point here. So individuals with obesity have been shown to sit 2.5 hours a day more than their leaner sedentary counterparts, not their leaner active counterparts, but even people that live sedentary lifestyles that are leaner. The more weight that you have on, obviously because it's uncomfortable, because there's pain associated with it, you just tend to sit more. So your caloric burn during your daily activity level is going to be a lot lower. So what this means to me as I look at this is that there's a huge opportunity for huge impact in this category as we make small adjustments. And that should be really encouraging to us, that we can make small and simple adjustments that don't just consist of having to feel overwhelmed by adding a huge hour-long CrossFit workout if that feels overwhelming to you. But we can make small lifestyle shifts to increase the daily calories that we're expending. So now look at this chart. I love this chart. Now look at these top two categories. You've got your intentional exercise at the top and then your NEAT category. And the neat category, if you look at how that looks, that's double what you're burning potentially with your exercise. Now, of course, that depends on your lifestyle, which is what we're going to talk about here. But I think it's also important to note before we move on with this slide that this is a percentage here on this chart. It's not a number. So we can't just say, oh, well, intentional exercise only makes up 10% of my daily caloric burn. I can just X that out and depend on the rest of it, because like we talked about previously, what you do for your intentional exercise is going to affect the numbers that come with your resting metabolic rate and all of the rest. So all of these play off of each other to make a different whole number, if that makes sense. But this is, in general, the percentage of what you're looking at, the percentage breakdown of what you're looking at in your day. And I just thought that was such an interesting thing to see. Okay, we're gonna get a little more interactive here as we kind of dive a little bit more into this. But think about this. So we see all these pictures, these black and white pictures of our ancestors, our grandparents, our great-grandparents. And I think one of the reasons why obesity is such an epidemic in our world today is because our activities of daily living have changed so drastically. We aren't out plowing fields anymore. We're not washing clothes by hand. Just by nature of what used to happen and what their lives were like, they had to burn a lot more calories during the day. And I'm not suggesting that in order to be more active, you have to suddenly switch over to growing all of your own food, although we would definitely be advocates of that if you're able to. But it should just be something that we think about as far as, again, the potential for maybe burning more calories just in the way that you approach your daily living activities, and what can we do to be more active in very small and simple ways. So here are some suggestions that the module had for us this week. Look through this list. I'll just kind of run through it verbally, but think about maybe one or two of these that, well, we're going to go through that on the next slide, but go ahead and just look through this and see what you think about this. Walk around your house while you're talking on the phone. Do your own yard work. Do your own housework. Plant a vegetable, herb, or ornamental garden. Make several trips up and down the stairs instead of piling it and waiting to take one trip. That's something that I'm guilty of. Run or walk stairs in between commercials on TV or chapters in a book. March in place while you're watching TV. Use hand weights or resistant bands while watching TV, listening to an audiobook, or visiting with friends or family members. I don't have to read every single one of those, but there's some great suggestions there. And I don't know about you, but when I read through that list, there's several there that I think, oh, I hadn't thought of that before, but that would be a fairly easy thing for me to add into my routine. Okay, so let's look over that list again, and then we're going to ask the following questions. And this is where I want you guys to start participating as much as you're comfortable. So first of all, go ahead and drop in the comments if you're willing. Let's give ourselves credit for what we're already doing. And maybe that feels frustrating to you if you look at that list and think, I'm already doing half of those. But instead of that feeling frustrating, think of it in terms of maybe how much less healthy you would be if you weren't already doing those things. So give yourself credit. Go ahead and list one or two things that you're already doing that you find enjoyable that's helping you to move. I'll give you just a second to kind of think about that. I think probably someone on this chat is doing something well here. What do you think? Let's see. Going shopping at the store, playing with kids outside. Awesome. Stairs instead of the elevator. Doing your own gardening. I love it. Stretching while watching TV. Riding your bike right now. Love it. Vacuuming, but not enjoying. Well, yes, some of them are more enjoyable than others. Love this. Okay, great. So let's shift now. There are probably some things on here that you need to eliminate. Now, there are a lot of barriers, right? For example, I may say, you know, I could make several trips up and down the stairs instead of piling it up, but it's not so much a not wanting to do it as just a time-saving thing. So I may cross that off my list and say that's not really practical for me. We don't necessarily have to go over that, but maybe just mentally give yourself permission to not do all of these. And then go ahead and, if you're willing to share, pick two things that are reasonable additions to your life and routine and share them with each other so we can kind of see what everyone's working on. What's maybe one or two things that you think you could add into your routine? I think maybe later at night before I settle down for the night and just talking to my husband, I could probably do some sit-ups while we visit. That'd be an easy thing to add in. Walking regularly is a good one. Is there anything else you can think of? Standing while sorting the mail. See, that's such a simple way to add that in. Isn't that great? More stretching, more water. Yep. Okay, I love that one, Donna. That's actually one we're going to talk about in one of the next slides. Just something as simple as doing something for yourself instead of asking your daughter or your husband or your significant other or a child or whoever to do it for you. I think that's just a simple thing that you can think, okay, this will take me 5 seconds, but it's a small shift in lifestyle. I love it. Dance doing the dishes. I love that one. Okay, let's move on. So out and about ideas. And again, please remember that everyone's circumstances are going to be different. So as you look at this, don't automatically write all of them off. Think about how maybe you could shift it to work for your lifestyle. So obviously not all of us ride buses or trains, but you might be able to park your car further from your destination, walk the rest of the way. I think somebody mentioned that earlier. Pace the sidelines while at a child's athletic game. Hopefully it doesn't make anybody nervous, but I thought that was a good idea. Taking a lap around the mall or the store before you start shopping if time allows. I liked that one a lot. Taking the stairs, walk around the airport while waiting for a flight instead of just sitting waiting for a flight. That seems like a fairly easy one, and then you can see all of the cinnamon rolls and everything that you shouldn't probably eat too many of, but maybe one is fine. And then instead of choosing a restaurant for date night, which is usually my favorite thing to do, try something more active. Touring a museum is one that you don't think of as being active, but you're standing or walking the whole time. If you want something even more active, bowling, pickleball, and then just carrying things to and from your car without asking for help. Carry things out, load them in your trunk yourself instead of having, somebody that works at the store do it for you. I love that. Took a lap around the mall today instead of checking email on the bench while waiting. That's awesome. Walking into McDonald's. Okay, well, we're getting it. We're getting it. I love it. Okay, so here again, what are you already doing? And I think some of you have already mentioned that. Donna gave a great example there. Anybody else see anything on this list that you're already doing well? Parking far away in the parking lots, that's an awesome one. And it's just such a small change, right? It just takes you a couple extra minutes, but it makes such a big difference as those things add up over time. I usually choose a restaurant for going out with friends for a double date night, but the times that we've gotten together to go bowling or playing pickleball are almost more memorable and fun. So I think that's something that I want to choose more often. I think I've shared on here before, when we first got married, we've kind of slacked off lately, so we need to get back into this. But we always said that we were gonna, with our kids, we were gonna have the motto, we're the family that takes the stairs. And so when we were first married, we would run up 18 flights of stairs at some buildings just for fun. And so I think we need to get back into that. That was a fun time. Walking while daughter does gymnastics, that's a great one. Walking around the airport during layovers. If you're somebody who travels for work, that's a great change that you can make. Walking to my sister's house instead of driving, that's a great one. Love the suggestions, that's great. Okay, so then some of us work at an office, some of us don't. So again, if you're not one that works in an office, this is an easy one to adapt to whatever you do during the day, whether it's working from home, whether it's working with kids, whether you're retired and you're working in your garden. There's all kinds of ways you can tweak these suggestions to work for you. If you have never tried a standing desk, that's something that you don't think of as a way to burn calories, but if you're standing all day instead of sitting, that's a great suggestion. We actually have a standing desk in our home office, and it's made a big difference. Walking to a coworker's office instead of emailing or phoning them, just a simple way to get up and move during the day. I liked this picture of this walking meeting that these coworkers are having. Just a simple, if you have to get together and discuss things, why not go walk around the block while you do it? Just something simple like taking the long way to the bathroom. You can even do that in your house. You have to go to the bathroom, like go up and down the stairs 3 times first if you can make it. And then just taking breaks. Get up from your desk every 30 minutes, walk around. So there's some suggestions. Go ahead, tell me what you're already doing well. Yes, I like the suggestion from Dr. Shill about a treadmill desk. Those are becoming more and more popular, and I even saw a picture, I didn't include it here, I wish I would have, of a desk that was surrounded by stationary bikes, so people could have meetings while on stationary bikes. That would probably be a big investment at your office, but it is kind of a fun idea to think about. Lifting your heels off the floor under your desk while working. That's such a simple thing, but again, it's adding movement to your day. I love that suggestion. Yes, great suggestions. And then go ahead and tell me 2 things that are reasonable additions to your life and routine. What is something that you can add here? Again, whether you work at an office, whether you work from home, whatever, whatever your situation, what is something that you can add here? I'm going to go ahead and tell you something today from me. I love floor yoga during long calls. That's a great idea. I hadn't thought of that one. It's a great idea. So today our family is getting ready to leave town, and I've been really tired today, just getting ready for all kinds of different events that we've got going. And normally, with how tired I was feeling, I would have thought to ask my husband if he could take a load of suitcases down to the car for me. Since we have 5 kids, we have a lot of suitcases, we have a lot of bags. It was probably about a total of 10 bags and suitcases that we had to bring down from the upstairs out to the car, load them in. And because I had prepared this webinar, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to ask him, I'm going to do it all myself. So it was just a simple thing, took me a few extra minutes, but it was a good way to add movement in. And again, these can be simple things that make a big difference when they all add up. So as we kind of wrap up tonight, I just want to say a few things to consider here is that there are barriers to success with all of these. If you're someone that's been struggling with your weight for a long time, it's probably because you are struggling with things like pain, fatigue, time management, and not as a critical way, but all of us struggle with time management. One of the things that's hardest about losing weight is finding the time to invest in it. Maybe your environment is not conducive to adding some of these things in. Maybe your motivation is low. Maybe you're struggling with depression or stress, anxiety, any other kind of mental health issues. And all of those can be barriers to, you may be looking at these lists and thinking this feels overwhelming to even do these small things. And so first of all, let me emphasize again that we are here to help with that. That's what we do. We can work with whatever you're dealing with, whether it's your pain, whether it's your environment, whether it's your motivation. We are here to be your cheerleaders. We're here to help you find solutions, and we're here to help you take baby steps to get to where you want to be. And so the key here is you want to start small and manageable. Pick one thing on that list that doesn't feel too overwhelming for you. And if you can just make one small change, obviously these small and simple lifestyle changes are not going to be the difference in losing 50 pounds all in and of themselves. But as we make these small, manageable lifestyle changes one at a time, they build over time, they lead to a healthier lifestyle, they motivate us to make more changes. And then in the end, as we help you with some of these big drops that may be needed to get to where you want to be, you're able to maintain those because we are making those lifestyle shifts. And we want to encourage you and help you to get there in whatever means that means. And part of what we do is we individualize this to your needs, to your desires, to your lifestyle, and we will help you make those changes. So as we wrap up tonight, thank you again for joining us. We've got one more week left in this lifestyle month. And then I just want to announce tonight, we are going to take the 4th of July off, obviously. And then the week after the 4th of July, we'll be out of town, so we're going to take the 11th off as well. So we're going to have a 2-week break. We'll be back on the 18th of July, and for the remainder of July, it's going to be really fun. We're going to focus kind of on summer lifestyle tips. So we're going to have a week all about eating right while you travel. And then we're going to explore some of that, and then we'll be a full bore back in August as well. So thank you again for joining us. Please join us again next week. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great night, everyone. Remember, the future is bright, and we'll help you get there. Good night. That was a cool one, right? I thought that was really cool information.
You're still live.
Hey, live. Nice.